Well, we picked up Ella's prescriptions and a soda, a pop, a soft drink,
Coke,
and Mr. Coffee filter, the round one that goes at the top, the pre-filter. So on the way home, remembered that we had the opportunity to get a free pizza at Domino's. So I went ahead and ordered it, and we've just arrived, and so we've got the free pizza that I was talking about there. Added up all our points and put them together, and it's going to taste good. Okay, so we're leaving Domino's and headed toward home. Just to get some extra time on the alternator, charging the battery. I'm going to take a little bit longer drive home.
because we probably won't be driving the truck again this week.
Right. Now, normally if I was going this direction, I would be making a left turn here, and that would take us down past the school and to the four-way stop at Parker's Corner. I know we've talked about Parker's Corner before because that's where we've been getting our perishables from, rather than driving all the way into Cedar Park. To Walmart. So.
And we do like to support our local businesses.
Yes, ma'am. Whenever possible. Now this large building off to the right over here, that about 5 years ago we watched them building that as we were passing through Liberty Hill. Well, it must be longer than that. It must be 6-7 years ago. At any rate, we watched them build that and kept thinking, that has to be a mall or something. It's not. That's the high school. And they've already outgrown it. The city limit signs at Liberty Hill still say population 967. But what did you say, Ella? The population 2,000 something?
Yes, it's over 2,000 now.
From the 2020, pardon me, 2020 census. But they haven't changed the signs yet. Get out once in a while. Our normal routine while we're at our Texas home is to be gone almost every day of the week. And of course, for nearly 100 days now, I think we're at 93 or 94 days that we self-sequestered ourselves. I guess that's redundant. Self-sequestered ourselves. Anyway, it's not to say that we don't go out, but we only go out for those things of great importance. We've gotten into the habit of, on Sunday, driving into our church, even though the service is broadcast, not open to the public, as it were. But we've done that because we have such terrible cell service at our RV spot that we drive in there to get into town to where we get 4 bars. And if we need to, we can also hook up to the church's Wi-Fi. So we sit in the church parking lot and watch the sermon, or the service being broadcast from right next door to where we're parked usually. And 2 weeks ago, we started an attempt to have our Sunday school class as an in-person thing in the church, plus having it also on Zoom at the same time. And it worked to a degree, but where we were trying it, the echoes were bad. I was there live and was having trouble understanding because of the echoes, and the people that had tuned in on Zoom just ended up leaving because it was impossible. So this last week, we still did an in-person and on Zoom, and moved where our chairs were and had a whole lot less echo. And even I'd say the people, but I think there was only one person on Zoom, and they were able to participate. So other than church, going for groceries, going for prescriptions, you see, the only other things we have done, we have visited our children down here, at least the boys and their families, and at the same time trying to maintain social distancing, which was kind of hard when the granddaughter come running up to give us a hug. We said, "Whoa, no. Oh yeah." I actually saw an image of a grandma and grandpa that had encased themselves in clear plastic so that they could get hugs from their grandkids. I haven't quite got to that point that I'm willing to do that. I'll try and wait until we can actually get real hugs. Now, I know we've mentioned this before too. Since we are still in Texas rather than in Iowa, where we normally would be during this time, I'll say fear of public restrooms, gas stations, even restaurants and motel rooms has kept us from taking off and going. I'm not sure, because at our campground back up in Iowa, we do have son and grandson who have memberships there, and it would be nice to be able to spend time with them. But even that, for the first 14 days, we would have to maintain a quarantine period before we could even go spend the time with the kids. So it's rough. We've got great grandkids that are growing up so quickly, and we're not around as much as we would like to be around them. And then there's the grandkids over in Florida that we see very seldom, and I know that they really aren't sure who we are. At least the oldest two do, but the younger two, they know our names, and that's probably the extent of it. Now, here's a 10-mile-an-hour curve. Now, I found in Texas that most curves posted you can fudge, but obviously you can see this one you don't want to be going that fast, because this bridge is too narrow for passing.
Or meeting.
Or meeting, yes. Well, so that was very nice of them to sit there and wait for us to come around there so that I could do a really nice explanation of why it was wise to slow down to the 10 miles an hour there. Some pretty little pink flowers pushed up there along the road. I've always said that Iowa roadsides, particularly the interstates, are pretty. But I have to tell you that Texas in the spring, and golly, the Sunday is the first day of summer also. The various flowers and stuff that have been up, the bluebonnets, which are something that only occur in the Texas Hill Country, and the Indian paintbrush, the wild chrysanthemums, just really beautify the countryside and the roadside. As a matter of fact, when the bluebonnets are blooming, it is against the law for the DOT to come and mow the ditches.
Frequently, I think the state actually sows bluebonnet seeds.
Oh yeah. They've got these big tanks full of water and seed, and they spray them out into the countryside. But stuff like these flowers here, even though these are starting to diminish, you still see the flowers along the roadside here. These look like some kind of black-eyed Susan type. I always wondered how Susan got a black eye.
I told you not to hit her.
Yeah, well, that must be it. pissed off just once too many times. By the way, you're on strike number 2 right now. I don't know what strike I'm on. Probably 100.
That's you.
Okay, after 26 plus years, actually 40 years of knowing each other, yeah, I probably got a lot more strikes than that. This is listed as a 45-mile-an-hour road. I'm doing 40. And that seems plenty fast enough for me. Hopefully it gives me enough time to dodge the majority of the potholes in it. But I'm always amazed from our campground as to how fast people are going when there's probably 150 feet from the end of our drive to the road, and people are still doing 60 miles an hour when they pass our drive.
Or more.
Nearly here. I will check the mail, but since we passed a mailman back there, I'm suspecting that was the one that delivers here and hasn't. No mail. What was that? Oh, a branch scraping across the roof. Well, the first thing, pardon me, this is Tom from TomandEllaJournal.com. There's Ella. And yesterday she had ordered a couple of prescriptions to be filled. And this morning she received notification that they were ready. So that's the first thing on our agenda today, is to go to the pharmacy and pick up the prescriptions.